erudition, his great diplomacy, and his great mind. I've ever been so happy to see you, Rabbi Adlerstein. Better you than me. Rabbi Adlerstein is well known in this community and well beloved in this community for his great erudition, his great diplomacy, and his great mind. And he's going out to respond to Mr. Prager's words.
Why does something tell me this was the most foolish decision I ever made in my life? I came here believing that this was a no-lose proposition. If I score a couple of points for the Ribbon Shalom, Baruch Hashem. If I don't, I can say everything I know about public debate I learned from Dennis. If I don't do well, it's his fault. This is really not a debate. It wasn't supposed to be a debate. It was supposed to be a friendly exchange of views. I applaud the OU for allowing this, despite everyone's lockjaw. We do have a tradition of being open to criticism. Self-criticism and criticism from the outside is one of our strengths. We do it all the time. And we accept Dennis's words in that vein. I have to say that Dennis actually understates his position as a makarev to authentic Yiddishkeit. Of all the people I know in the world of kiruv, and first and foremost I see myself as a kiruv professional, if I had to categorize them for what gave them their start on the journey back to Halachic Judaism, the largest number would fall in the category of Dennis devotees, who now would love nothing more than to be locked in a room with him for 3 hours and give him a piece of their mind. I must thank the Ribbon Shalom. I walked in here today not having any idea of what this would be about, and indeed I did no preparation. I came in with blank notes. And the Ribbon Shalom was Mizakani, was having what to say. Not enough time perhaps, but what to say. My only fear is that I am not going to tell people in the audience anything that they don't already know. And all I'm afraid I can do is review some rather old and very important truths. I too will quote the Kutzker, who once asked his Talmidim, "Where is God?" And one Chassid said in the base medrash, "Okay, where is God? God is where you find the women baking matzahs with all their enthusiasm. Where is God?" Went through a couple of rounds and finally they asked, "So no, Rebbe, where is God?" And the Kutzker answered, "God is wherever you will let him in." We must not forget, ladies and gentlemen, that halacha, first and foremost, is the way of letting God into everything in life, into the minutia of life, into the exacting decisions we have to make 1,000 times a day. We don't worship halacha, but through halacha we bring the Ribbon Shalom into everything in our universe. A professor at Harvard, whose name escapes me at the moment, although it shouldn't, wrote a beautiful little book as an introduction to Judaism, and he called what Dennis seems to have a bit of a problem with, he called it sacred detail. Those little nitpicking questions that we ask all the time are sacred for a variety of reasons. I don't know how many of you have had to face people often and say, "Okay, Rabbi, so how are you so sure? How can you demonstrate God's existence to me?" And at the risk of getting expelled from my own community, I don't believe there is proof. I think there are arguments, but I don't believe that there are proofs in the sense of mathematical logic. There are arguments. Ultimately, it's the Ribono Shalom himself who has to prove his existence to us. There's a beautiful Shalom HaKadosh in several places that quotes the Zohar I have never been able to find. Obviously, I'm a Bucky in Zohar, I just can't admit it in public. But the Shalom cites Zohar as stating that the Ribono Shalom put an or de mehem nusa, a light of belief is resident in every mitzvah of the Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu evidences himself through the practice of halacha. And in a piece which we don't have time for right now, Rabbi Eisen is far better suited to show you, expose the beauty of this, a beautiful piece by Rav Kook in the second parak of Shabbos. Rav Kook argues that values ultimately can be corrupted, they can be seized upon by other cultures and other people, so that gradually they become sort of fuzzy around the edges. When that happens, the only way to assure the continuity of Klal Yisrael is more halacha, more precision, more dikduk in halacha. Then it's asked whether being an Orthodox Jew makes people better people. My answer is, it can, and it often does. But we also have to ask, what does lack of fidelity to halacha do? And there I think the answer is clear. That's not even a matter of speculation. We see it in what happened to the late lamented conservative movement. Without halacha, without rigorous adherence to halacha, you soon don't have very many Jews left. Halacha ultimately is the vehicle for those great values that we all agree with Dennis are at the core of Yitzhock. Everyone here knows the answer, the response to the shaver question, and that was the famous story of Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky Zatzal when he was a Rav in Europe, and a person came to him and said, I was at the post office today, and I bought stamps, and they gave me too much change. And Rav Yaakov said, go back to the post office and give back the change. And the next day, the same story, go back. The next day, the same story, go back. Rav Yaakov figured out after a while something is doing. And it turned out, in fact, that there was a new postmaster, and he heard all these terrible things about Jews that he assumed was correct. But he was a fair individual ready to give them a chance. So in his first position, he decided to put these Jews to the test, and everyone in the town passed. Fast forward decades later, he became the mayor of the town and protected the Jews during World War II, during the Holocaust. That's not where the story ends, unfortunately. The story ends with a mixed plug for both Dennis and I. Rav Yaakov appended to the story this sad addendum. He said, in America, I couldn't have paskined that way. Now that says two things at the same time. It says that we've lost a lot from that generation in Europe. But Rav Yaakov's words were noteworthy. He didn't appeal to values, although maybe that's where he should have. Rav Yaakov paskined to his people. And people who have a dedication to halacha and to its minutia react to a Rav and say, that is the Ratzon Hashem. And I'm not going to second guess whether I'm in the mood today to go for the values or not go for the values. I do it because that is the Ratzon Hashem. We don't worship halacha, although it is possible to do. In the Morale, one place says that the generation that was criticized for not making a bracha on learning Torah attached their love to Torah rather than HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They abstracted HaKadosh Baruch Hu from it. But the solution to that is not less adherence to halacha. The solution to that is to find a greater place for the Ribono Shalom in our lives. Certainly something we could all agree upon. In the specifics, what can I tell you? I advise everybody here to read a marvelous article published a few years ago by the Orthodox Forum, written by Dr. Judy Blythe, about